छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन ज़मीन आसमान पूछ गया झूमता गगन आसमान मेरे झूम ले जहां ये कैसा नशा प्यार का समान रही समा झूमे आसमान होश तो खोले प्यार तू ले ले संग मेरे झूम जा कैसा नशा होश है कहाँ होश तो खोले प्यार तू ले ले संग मेरे झूम जा
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of This Week Tonight. For tonight, May 17th, 2020, Mr. Minhas comes to you live here once again from the Minhas Isolation Bunker to bring you the news you need to know about on what is still the #1 weekly rated teacher isolation news show in the greater Western Edmonton area. So glad to have all of you here again tonight watching on YouTube, and as well having the GOAT watching live from home. Thanks, Mike. Can I call you Mike?
No.
Good to know. And again, thank you all for watching wherever you're watching. I hope you're staying safe and staying healthy. I know a lot of us are eagerly anticipating when we're eventually allowed to get back to our regular lifestyle, get back outside there and do all the things that we love to do. If only there was some way for us to know when that would happen.
Okay, shouldn't take long, between an hour and 11 months, somewhere in there. Okay, bye. Don't go outside.
Okay, well, that's pretty depressing. But hopefully we have a great show for you this week to lift your spirits. As always, let's get started with some great news. As always, on Some Great News, a chance for us here at the Minhas Isolation Bunker to share with you some great news happening around the world. This week we have 3 some great news stories to share with you. Starting us off is an ingenious way that a couple shares some great news with all their friends. Yep, we all continue to have way too much time on our hands. Next up, it wouldn't be some great news without some good old-fashioned trick shot magic. And for this week, we kick it back to our first week of some great news, that amazing mother-son pairing to show you just how trick shots are done.
Ah! That makes it more
Oh, I know.
Oh!
What?
How much do you think he can handle?
Ah! You know, he's kind of a Joe. Just skids over. Wow! I wish I could tell.
This is how we spend our evenings together.
Those two are professionals. In our last video for Some Great News, I send out to each and every one of you the very first Minhas Challenge. And that Minhas Challenge is to try not to smile while you watch this small human make his first quarantine pizza. So each and every one of you failed that challenge. That might be the cutest thing I've ever seen, and now I'm officially starving. That's all for some great news. Now on to the ever popular Minhas Top 10. Of course, last week we tackled the 10 best Simpsons episodes of all time. And let me tell you, we got so much dissenting opinion and negative feedback online, largely from the residents of Springfield, which is shocking to me because I assumed they were not real people, yet my Twitter feed and my Instagram feed were just filled with negative comments from those people. This week, we are going to shift gears. Wait for it. We're going to shift gears a little bit, and we are going to be actually doing a Minhas Top 8 because we are going to be ranking the 8 Fast and the Furious movies from 8 to number 1 right here on This Week Tonight.
Hey, it's The Rock, the people's champ. Obviously, it's Hobbs and Shaw.
First of all, don't ever come back.
What's the
because
problem?
that is an abomination.
What is?
Secondly, spin-offs don't count.
What?
I'm sorry, creepy dude.
How am I
but
creepy?
your movie's off the list.
That's not fair.
Let's get started with the Minhas Top 8. Before we get into the Minhas Top 8 Fast and the Furious movies ranked, let's just start a family tally right around here, because I have a feeling I'm going to say the word family a lot. So family tally starting right now, because the series is all about family. Number 8 on our list, the worst Fast and the Furious movie, is Too Fast, Too Furious. This movie is unbelievably boring. Of course, Vin Diesel, not part of this movie. He left after the first one, but it loses all the heart of that first movie. It's incredibly boring. It's not fun at all. It doesn't include family at all. That's why Too Fast, Too Furious is the worst Fast and the Furious movie of all time. Moving on to number 7 on our list. Number 7 is Fast and Furious. Not a particularly fun movie, but it gets points because it brings Vin Diesel back into the fold and it reunites the family, which we're big fans of. But otherwise, it's just kind of a in-between movie that leads us to much better, a much brighter future. Fast and Furious, number 7 on our list. Number 6 on our list is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift is an incredibly fun movie. It's an inconsequential movie in the grand scheme of things, but it's a fun movie, a great setting. Han is a wonderful character as well, and it becomes better because they actually retcon it later on by revealing who kills Han in a future movie. We'll get to that in a little bit. Tokyo Drift, number 6 on our list. Moving on to number 5 on our list. Number 5 on our list is The Fate of the Furious. This movie should have been better. A lot of the pieces are in place for a really great movie. Turning Jason Statham into a hero that clearly doesn't want to be a hero is a really, really fun turn, and he does a great job at that. But the core conceit of this film is trying to believe that Vin Diesel would turn on his family. And we all know that the most important thing to Vin Diesel is family. So no one believed that, and that really takes a lot out of this movie. However, the action scene on the ice is absolutely wonderful. That's why Fate of the Furious is number 5 on our list. Moving on to number 4 on our list. Number 4 is Furious 6. Furious 6 is a great action movie, incredibly fun. Difficult to follow up Fast 5, but they pull it off. It brings Rock into the fold as a hero as opposed to the villain or the antagonist in the movie. He joins Dom and becomes part of the family for this film, which is really fantastic. Has that great scene where Dom saves Letty from falling off that bridge. Absolutely insane. Another fantastic action scene where you have the cars falling out of the flaming plane. Incredible. Owen Shaw is a great villain as well. We can't talk about this movie without talking about the fantastic ending where it goes into the end of Tokyo Drift, and you see that Jason Statham is actually the one who killed Han. Mind-blowing ending. Furious 6, number 4 on our list. Now that brings us to our top 3. And number 3 on our list of the 8 best live-action Fast and the Furious movies is Furious 7. It's hard not to talk about this movie without obviously talking about the untimely death of Paul Walker. That kind of permeates the entirety of the film. In a lot of ways, you're waiting to see how they're going to wrap up his story at the end. There are some great scenes throughout the entire movie. The cars going through the skyscraper, absolutely incredible, like just absurd, but amazing. Letty fighting in that ball gown, really great as well. But it's made, of course, with the tribute to Paul Walker and the lasting image of the two vehicles going off into separate directions, which leads directly into a Paul Walker tribute at the end of that film. I remember being in the theater and there were not very many dry eyes in that theater. Furious 7 is number 3 on the list. Turning the page to number 2 on the list, and number 2, this might get some people upset, but number 2 is actually the very first movie, The Fast and the Furious. The beginning of the family right there in this film. That's what it's all about, right? It's all about family, and this is the quintessential idea of that. It's a great premise though, right? You have Vin Diesel being the underground street racer, you have Paul Walker being the cop who's trying to infiltrate in, but ends up falling in love with somebody in that world, being Vin Diesel's sister. It's fantastic, and it's very different than the movies that came afterwards, after Tokyo Drift and on, because this was a purely stunt racing film, and it nails it on every single level. And the things that came after it wouldn't be able to be there without the original. That's why The Fast and the Furious is number 2 on our list, which leads us to number 1 on our list, Fast 5. I want to make sure I get this right. In the great words of Dominic Toretto, it doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or win by a mile, winning is winning. And that's what this movie is. Yes, the first one is fantastic, but this one wins probably by an inch, but it's absolutely incredible. It totally reinvents a series that seemed like it was spinning its wheels the entire time after the first film. It introduced The Rock in there as the villain, who's a perfect villain, this perfect foil to this family that is there, and it really hones in that idea of family. This is really the first movie where they hammer that point home over and over again, that they are a family, that they are going to stick together, that they're going to do whatever they can to try to move forward. This is a movie that completely changes what this entire franchise is going to be, from a franchise about street racing to a heist film. It's absolutely insane. It's incredible all the way throughout. Some absolutely mind-numbingly fantastic scenes. The one that sticks out to me the most is where they have the vault chained to their vehicle, and they're going through the streets of Rio, and then they start using the vault as a battering ram, which is fantastic. Anytime The Rock and Vin Diesel are on screen together, it oozes charisma constantly. Their final interaction is really, really fantastic as well. But when we talk about a movie that is quintessential fun, Fast 5 is quintessential fun. One of the funnest experiences I've ever had in a movie theater. And that's why the genre about family is wrapped up in the greatest Fast and the Furious movie of all time, which is Fast 5, Family. Wow, what a top 8. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to what is the week that was in comm. In that week that was in comm, you only had one assignment to focus on, and that was the beginning of your portfolio assignments, where you were creating your resume. I had a lot of different questions come up in emails and in my office hours for my Google Meets. A lot of similar questions. The big one was, if I already have a resume, then do I need to make a new one? What I suggest to you is, please send me your resume if you think that it is quite a good one. I will look through it, I will edit it for you, and I will give you suggestions. Like I stated in your weekly lesson, the resumes that a lot of students make tend to be resumes that aren't particularly good, or don't have a very good template, or are just blend into the hundreds of other resumes that get handed out and passed out to companies all over Edmonton. So my hope would be, after looking through your resume, then maybe together we can find the right template for you that will make your resume stand out. So that is the focused assignment for the week that was. A reminder for each and every one of you, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, block 1, block 4, block 0, your resume is expected to be done on those days that it is due. And again, if you have any questions, please do feel free to send me an email. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. So that is all for the week that was in comm. Now, before we get to the week that will be in comm, we have a returning favorite to the show, and that is our senior meteorologist correspondent himself, Jack, who is back from a weeks-long holdout as he was demanding higher salary. And I'm glad to say that we have finally come to terms on a salary for Jack. He is now the highest paid member of This Week Tonight, making a whopping $2.3 million per episode. As you can tell, I am clearly okay with that. So Jack, why don't you tell us what's happening out there with the weather? Thanks, Jack. That was clearly worth $2.3 million. Now on to the week that will be in comm. Now that week that will be in comm, and as I alluded to earlier, it'll be a bit of a different week for each and every one of you, and that is because it is a catch-up week. So what you can expect from this week, whether it's starting on Monday, Thursday, or the Friday for you, you will not have a new assignment posted for the week. Instead, what will happen is you will have a Google Sheets or Google Doc posted in your Google Classroom with your student ID number and any assignments that may be outstanding from the beginning of our online learning. And you'll have that week to get caught up on that assignment. So if you hop on to Google Classroom and you do not see your student ID number, awesome, that's amazing. That means you have done everything that you need to do, so you have nothing to get done for my class. If you do see your student ID number, then you need to get in contact with me and get those assignments done. When you are done any of the assignments that are posted on there, please do send me an email and let me know. I will be available throughout the week to answer your emails. So again, you can send me an email at any time. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're one of those students who has no idea what their student ID number is, you can log into School Zone and find it on there as well. But that's all for the week that will be. Again, a catch-up week for those who are missing stuff and a chance for those who are caught up on everything to sit back, relax, have a fun time. I think the weather is supposed to be pretty good based on what Jack said earlier. That is the week that will be in comm. Now that's all the time we have for episode 8 of This Week Tonight. Mr. Michael Jordan, sir, did you enjoy the show?
I took offense to that.
Well, I guess it's pretty hard to impress the GOAT, but maybe this'll impress him. From all of us here at This Week Tonight Studios, thank you so much for joining us, giving up part of your Sunday evening. Hopefully you had a good time and we put a smile on your faces. I know a lot of us are starting to feel like this kid right here.
Where are you going?
But trust me, each and every one of you and all of us together, we are making this world a better place. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, and as always, make good life choices. Good night.